It burned hotter than firewood and cost less too. An old man watches flames curl around what used to be money, German banknotes from 1923. Once they could buy a home. Now, they're just fuel for a cold stove. His grandkids stack them like toy bricks on the floor. They laugh, but it's not funny. Because this is what happens when a system fails, when trust dies. Fiat money is the kind we use every day. It's just paper backed by belief. Belief in a functioning economy. Belief in stability. When that belief collapses through war, hyperinflation, or a national grid down, money follows. And it doesn't take long. In Argentina, people were locked out of their own bank accounts overnight. Cash meant nothing. Bullets and medicine held real value. In Venezuela, banknotes piled up in the streets like trash. The people turned to bartering just to survive another day. Because when supply chains break, when the shelves are empty and trucks stop rolling in, you learn fast. You can't eat paper. Your balance sheet doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what keeps you warm, fed, and safe. So the question is simple. What becomes currency when the dollar dies? In this video, we dive into the real economics of collapse, not theory, but hands-on survival. You'll learn what to trade, how to trade it, and how to stay safe in a true barter economy. Because when traditional money fails, success depends on more than supplies. It takes strategy, confidence, and the right mindset. We'll walk you through 10 practical bartering tips, from protecting your stockpile to negotiating without showing weakness, and making smart trades without becoming a target. This is your guide to self-reliance, trade, and survival when the old system falls and the new one rises. So, let's get started. When the system breaks, value doesn't vanish, it just changes shape. After a collapse, nobody's trading stocks. They're trading soup cans, bullets, and bandages. In a barter economy, the new currency is survival utility. It's not about numbers on paper. It's about what keeps you alive, safe, and functional. Items with direct, practical value become the backbone of trade. That means food, water, fuel, medicine, and yes, even lighters and batteries. Let's start with physical goods, the hard commodities of survival. In a cashless world, stocked items are the new gold. But unlike gold, their value comes from use, not from shine. Food and water always top the list. Non-perishable, high-calorie staples like canned goods, rice, beans, jerky, and even MREs immediately become high-value trade items. So does clean water or filtration gear. When stores go empty, these items go from common to critical. A few gallons of potable water or a bucket of rice could secure you anything you need. Medical supplies are next. When hospitals close or meds run dry, even basic items become life-saving. Antibiotics, antiseptics, painkillers, blood pressure meds, insulin, these all gain extreme barter value. Even small first aid items like gauze or aspirin could trade at a premium. When someone's child is sick and there's no pharmacy in sight, the person with penicillin has leverage. Then there's fuel and energy. Gasoline, diesel, propane, kerosene, firewood. Any power source becomes precious. Fuel runs generators, vehicles, cook stoves. And without it, everything stalls. People will trade heavily for a propane tank or a few gallons of gas. Even matches, candles, and lighters become trade gold. Light and heat are basic needs, and energy, in any form, becomes one of the top currencies of survival. In any collapse scenario, security becomes non-negotiable, and that means ammunition quickly becomes one of the most sought-after barter items. Bullets, especially in common calibers like 9mm, 22 LR, 12 gauge, 223, and 308 aren't just for defense. They're for hunting, signaling, and deterrence. Unlike tools, ammo gets used up. That makes it a consumable currency with constant demand. In past conflicts, rounds were literally used as money. During the Bosnian War, some goods were priced in cigarettes or bullets. A single cartridge could buy a meal or keep a thief away. Firearms are valuable too, but few will trade them unless desperate or overstocked. Still, having a surplus of ammo or even cleaning kits and spare parts gives you real leverage in any barter exchange. Batteries are another high-value item that often gets overlooked. AA's, AAA's, D's, rechargeable packs, these keep your flashlights running and your radio alive, and your medical devices working. When the grid goes down, power disappears fast. After Puerto Rico's extended blackout, batteries became one of the first items to vanish from shelves. A working solar charger or crank generator that lets someone power a radio or light could be traded for food, fuel, or ammo. Power equals communication, light, and safety, and in darkness, even a fresh battery can be worth its weight in silver. Then there are tools, the kind you can't replace when Home Depot is in ruins. Axes, hammers, saws, nails, knives, rope, duct tape, glue. These are what allow people to fix, build, and defend. A basic box of screws or a single shovel becomes infrastructure in collapse. Durable, low-tech tools that actually work will hold serious barter value, especially when others don't have the foresight to store them. When society breaks down, hygiene stops being optional. It becomes life or death. Disease spreads fast when there's no trash pickup, no working toilets, no clean water. That's why items like soap, bleach, disinfectants, and toilet paper will be in high demand. The smallest things like toothpaste, razors, shampoo, and feminine products turn into trade goods with real value. Think back to how fast toilet paper vanished during COVID. Now imagine no resupply at all. In that world, a bar of soap might be worth more than silver. Bleach becomes both a disinfectant and a water purifier. And for families with babies, diapers and wipes become survival tools in and of themselves. Especially when water for washing cloth diapers is scarce. These aren't glamorous items, but they prevent illness, preserve dignity, and keep communities from turning into disease pits. Stocking extras means you won't just stay healthy, you'll have real currency for trade. And then there's comfort, because survival isn't just about staying alive, it's about staying human. People under stress crave familiarity. That's why cigarettes, alcohol, coffee, tea, sugar, and spices consistently show up as black market gold. Addictions don't fade and collapse, they intensify. One pack of smokes or a bottle of whiskey can unlock trade deals that others simply can't. Coffee, especially, is a powerful motivator. Caffeine withdrawal is real, and many folks would trade food or fuel for a morning brew. Even chocolate, candy, or a small bag of salt can brighten someone's day, and that matters when morale is low. These vices won't keep you alive directly, but they will get you fed, clothed, or even protected, because someone out there will always want them badly enough. And when night falls, candles, oil lamps, solar lanterns, anything that pushes back the dark becomes more than useful. It becomes essential. Gold glints in the sun, feels heavy in the hand, and looks valuable. But in the chaos after a collapse, you can't eat it. And that's the hard truth many preppers wrestle with. Yeah, precious metals do hold long-term value. Silver coins, gold bullion, even old jewelry. Historically, people have trusted them when paper money failed. And yes, they'll likely return as currency when the dust settles and trade stabilizes. But in the early stages of collapse, they won't buy much, not when folks are hungry, cold, or bleeding. One Bosnian War survivor put it plainly. In the siege, gold was only useful if you had connections. What mattered most were skills and supplies. Bread, bullets, bandages, not bullion. That said, junk silver like pre-1965 US dimes and quarters might come in handy. They're recognizable, divisible, and compact. A silver coin might be able to buy you a sack of grain when fiat money can't. Gold, too, can be traded for larger items if the other person believes in its worth. Just don't bet everything on it. Think of gold and silver as a backup store of value, not your go-to currency in a crisis. They're useful later, not when you're trying to light a stove or feed your kid tonight. And here's the last truth. Anything can become tradable if it meets a need. In Venezuela, people bartered with art made from worthless banknotes. In cold climates, boots and jackets become currency. If it keeps people alive, warm, safe, or even sane, it has value. So look at your stockpile like a diversified investment portfolio. Water, fuel, meds, tools, comfort items, and maybe a little silver tucked away. And here's a tip most forget. Portioning matters. Trade works best when items are split small. Travel-sized toiletries, mini liquor bottles, single-serving rations. In bartering, smaller pieces will buy you bigger flexibility. They fed me because I could fix things, not because I had stuff. In a world where the shelves are empty and your savings mean nothing, it's not what you own that keeps you alive, it's what you can do. Skills become currency. Unlike a can of beans, your ability to help others doesn't run out. You can trade it again and again, and when collapse stretches into months or even years, the most valuable people aren't the ones with gold, they're the ones with capable hands. One Bosnian survivor said it best, "I was a paramedic. My knowledge was my wealth." In the rubble of a fallen society, he didn't just survive, he thrived because he was useful. Medical skills are top tier. Field medics, nurses, midwives, even folks who've studied herbal remedies or trauma response. You become irreplaceable. If you can set a bone, treat an infection, deliver a baby, or stop a bleed, you'll never lack food or shelter. Even simple abilities like stitching a wound or pulling a bad tooth can earn you protection, firewood, or even clean water. Historically, communities feed their healers first because losing them costs lives. Then comes security. In a lawless world, safety is a service. If you've got a military background, law enforcement experience, or just solid tactical knowledge, that becomes barter fuel too. Guard duty, convoy escort, perimeter defense, even training others in firearms and tactics has real trade value. When the parts stop shipping and the factories go silent, the man who can fix things becomes the most popular guy in town. Medical repair is king. If you can keep a car running, rebuild a generator, or rig a solar panel from scraps, you're not just useful, you're essential. After a collapse, there is no tech support. You are the tech support. Mechanics, engineers, tinkerers, anyone who can get old machines humming again will find themselves trading repairs for food, fuel, or firewood. Even bicycles might become gold. When fuel dries up, 2 wheels and a chain are better than nothing, and someone has to fix those chains. And it goes even further. Radios, lights, ham sets, even weapon repairs. Gunsmiths and gearheads with tools and know-how will have people lining up. As Brandon Smith once said, if you want to survive the destruction of the system, you better be able to make, fix, or teach something vital. Same goes for builders. A carpenter or a mason who can shore up a leaking roof or reinforce a wall, that's not a luxury, it's survival. In war zones like Sarajevo, shelling shattered homes daily. If you could swing a hammer or fix mortar, you could secure shelter and barter well for it. And in welding, metalworking, even primitive skills like building a smokehouse or water catchment from salvaged junk, those are gold mines in human hands. And when food stores run dry, it's the growers and the gatherers who rise. If you know how to grow a garden in bad soil, raise chickens, or forage edible plants in your region, you don't go hungry. You'll be feeding others, and they'll trade for that gift. Better yet, you teach it. And food preservation? That's survival on delay. If you can safely can stew, cure meat, or ferment vegetables, you're giving people winter insurance. A good smoker or pickler can trade their labor for a cut of the food and ensure nothing gets wasted. Even cooking matters. A community cook can stretch simple staples into warm, hearty meals, bringing morale and comfort, and gets fed in return. In Argentina's collapse, people bartered baked goods from home for medicine, fuel, and even security. Clean water keeps you breathing. Dirty water kills silently. That's why water purification is more than just useful. It's survival itself. If you know how to find, filter, and purify water, whether with bleaching, boiling, solar disinfection, or charcoal layers, you can save lives. And people will trade well for that kind of know-how. You could run a clean water station. Folks bring their cloudy buckets and walk away with drinkable life in exchange for food, fuel, or labor. Or maybe you know how to build a sand and charcoal filter from salvaged junk. Teach a family how to do that, and you might just buy yourself weeks of goodwill or dinner every single night for a month. Same goes with sanitation. Diseases like cholera don't need bullets to spread. They thrive in ignorance. If you could build a safe latrine, set up waste compositing, or organize basic hygiene infrastructure for a camp, you become the frontline defense against disease. That alone can earn you a seat at the table in any functioning survival group. And then there's babies. Collapse doesn't stop life from beginning. Midwives, doulas, and anyone with birth experience becomes vital, especially when clinics close and hospitals are long gone. Helping to safely deliver a child might buy you food, safety, and even shelter. Families will trade dearly for the life of a newborn and the health of the mother. And that value extends beyond the birth. Teaching and childcare also matter. In any tight-knit community, someone has to watch the children while others secure food or guard the perimeter. If you can teach literacy, math, or even just keep kids safe and learning, that's a real value. You're not just bartering knowledge, you're helping preserve the future. Even in a broken world, not everyone will need the same thing, but someone will always need something that you can do. Let's talk about niche skills, because in a barter economy, specialization is survival. Know how to run a ham radio? How about fix comms equipment? That makes you the information hub, and in a crisis, information is power. Radio operators will be critical for coordinating trade, defense, or even just news between groups. You keep the signal alive, and you stay in demand. Can you jerry-rig a solar setup? Wire a basic alarm system? Fix a dead inverter? That's a rare and powerful edge. Even limited tech repair is gold in a world that's gone dark. You'll be the guy that people seek out when they need light, security, or even a working radio. Got veterinary knowledge? People with livestock will pay in food, favors, or fuel to save their animals. Because in a collapse, animals are walking wealth. Knowing how to care for goats, chickens, or draft animals makes you the emergency vet, and that's barter leverage. Blacksmithing and toolmaking? That's the backbone of civilization. Forge a nail, fix a blade, build a hinge. Suddenly, you're not just a smith, you're infrastructure. Sewing, knitting, cobbling? Don't laugh. When boots fall apart and stores are gone, a working sewing kit becomes practical treasure. If you can mend, patch, or make clothes, you'll trade your services fast. Can you make fuel? Ethanol, charcoal, even biodiesel? That's power, literal and social. Few know how, and if you do, you control mobility, machinery, and that's a top-tier bartering skill. And don't overlook things like language skills. If communities fragment or outsiders show up, translation becomes trade. Bridging groups means brokering deals. Then there's teaching. That's right, teaching. If you can train someone to purify water, preserve food, or fix a broken tool, that lesson could earn you meals or supplies. Knowledge doesn't run out. Pass it on, and people will thank you with real goods. Even leadership matters. Organization, diplomacy, decision-making. You might not trade those for goods directly, but a community that trusts your judgment will look after you. Bottom line, in a collapsed world, what you can do becomes what you are worth. And unlike fiat money, skills don't lose value. They can't be devalued by a corrupt government or wiped away by a bank freeze. Your knowledge stays with you, day after day, earning, trading, surviving. So, if you're prepping, don't just stock supplies. Stock up on skills as well. Because when it all hits the fan, the wisest hands are never idle. Still, no matter how skilled you are, you can't grow everything, fix everything, or do it all alone. That's where bartering comes in. In a world where cash is worthless and stores are gone, bartering becomes the new economy. Quick break. If you're still watching, it means you're one of the few who gets it. You understand that the world can change overnight. That being prepared isn't paranoia, it's responsibility. My mission is simple: to help as many people as possible wake up and gear up. If you believe in that too, hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this message matters. And subscribe, but don't do it for me. Do it to help spread the mindset that one day could save a life. Let's build a community of people who aren't waiting to be rescued. Let's spread the word and stay one step ahead. All right, let's get back to the video. In a world where cash is worthless and stores are gone, bartering becomes the new economy. But here's the truth. It's not just about what you trade, it's about how you trade it. Bartering is human, raw, negotiated face to face. No price tags, no refunds, and no second chances. And that means that understanding the psychology behind each trade is just as important as what you bring to the table. Let's break it down. Scarcity and supply. If something's rare, it's valuable. Simple enough, until it isn't. You might have a bag of salt sitting in your pantry for years. Suddenly, everyone's run out, and that bag becomes more valuable than gold. Next week, a relief drop floods the town with canned sardines, and just like that, they're trading for peanuts. In barter economies, value swings fast. One rumor can crash the worth of an item overnight. Today, antibiotics are priceless. Tomorrow, a traveling medic arrives and suddenly, they're everywhere. Stay alert. Watch the flow of goods. Barter isn't static, it's fluid, and the winners are those who adapt the fastest. Utility and need. What's truly useful always holds value, but personal need drives the deal. A hungry man will pay more for rice, and someone down to their last rounds of ammo will see your bullets as treasure. But here's the trick. Don't look desperate. The moment someone senses you need it badly, the price automatically goes up. So, remember this golden rule. If you desperately need something, conceal that desperation. Keep your face neutral. Ask casual questions. Because in barter, need is leverage, and showing your hand can cost you dearly. Perception and rumors. When there are no formal prices, perception is reality. Maybe your moonshine is identical to your neighbor's, but if folks believe yours is clearer or stronger, you'll trade it for more. Maybe someone whispers that a food is tainted or a trade zone is unsafe, and suddenly demand crashes or everyone hoards that item out of fear. Barter runs on stories. Word spreads and value shifts with it. That's why your reputation matters. If you're known as fair, reliable, and honest, people will come to you first and they'll trust your goods. And trust in a collapse is currency. Now, beyond understanding these factors, you need practical barter strategies. Because surviving in a trade-based economy isn't just about what you have, it's about how you use it. Here are 10 tactical tips to help you strike favorable trades while staying safe and sharp in a barter-only world. Number 1. Never look desperate, even if you are. In a barter game, showing need is like bleeding in shark-infested waters. If they sense that you're desperate, you've already lost leverage. Even if you're down to your last meal, project calm. Instead of saying, "Please, my family's starving," instead try, "I could use some rice, but it's not that urgent." That totally shifts the dynamic. It puts you in control. Desperation invites exploitation, while confidence invites negotiation. Number 2. Start small. Never put all your goods on the table. Don't show your whole hand. Bring only what you're willing to trade, and nothing more. Let's say you're trading for antibiotics and you have a case of ammo. Don't show the case. Show only a few rounds, maybe a single magazine. Why? Because flashing all your wealth makes you two things. A bigger target for bad actors. And B, a worse negotiator with less wiggle room. Always stagger your offers. If that's not enough, I could add a box of matches. Never say, "Here's everything I've got. Please take what you need." Number 3. Guard information about your stockpiles. Loose lips sink preppers. If word gets out that you've got gallons of gas or crates of food, you're not a trading partner anymore. You're a target. When bartering, always play it like you're low too. Say things like, "This is the last of my fuel. I need something worthwhile for it." Even if you've got 50 gallons buried behind your shed, no one needs to know that but you. Operational security is survival, and silence is your armor. Number 4. Choose neutral, safe trading grounds. Never trade from your home base if you can avoid it. That's your stronghold, and don't let strangers map it. And don't walk solo into someone else's turf either, even if you trust them. Neutral ground is king. Use public spaces, marketplaces, or halfway points. Bring a buddy. Go in daylight. In Bosnia, survivors created informational trading zones with temporary ceasefires. Because even enemies understood, survival sometimes requires a truce. If a trade has to happen on someone's turf, assess the risk, and next time, suggest a meet on your terms. Number 5. Be armed and cautious. It may seem obvious, but it's worth repeating. Never show up to a trade unprepared to defend yourself. Barter setups can go bad fast. ambushes, double crosses, or desperate people doing desperate things. Always carry a weapon, either visible to deter or concealed to surprise. Better still, don't trade alone. Bring backup. One person handles the deal while the other watches the surroundings. But don't act like a threat. There's a fine line between prepared and provocative. Stay friendly, but stay alert. Many folks just want a fair trade, but it only takes one to ruin your day. Having a calm, confident presence and being known as someone who's not to be trifled with keeps trades clean and respectful. Number 6. Negotiate with fairness, but aim for win-win. Barter involves haggling. That's normal. Ask high if you want, but don't be greedy. Push too far and you risk bad blood. The smartest traders aim for deals where both sides walk away content, not just because it's fair, but because reputation matters. In a tight-knit barter economy, people remember how you trade. If you become known as the guy who always cheats or bullies others, people will avoid you, or worse, unite against you. On the flip side, being seen as a fair, reliable trading partner opens doors. Sometimes it's wise to take a small loss today to build long-term trust. Like one prepper put it, you never know when you'll be the one who's desperate next time. Number 7. Observe and learn the barter market. The value of goods shifts consistently. This isn't a fixed economy, it's dynamic. One week, everyone's after antibiotics, and the next, batteries are gold. Stay alert, learn what's hot. If batteries are spiking now, trade them for extra food. And if medicine becomes scarce next week, use that food to get what you need. Smart bartering is part trade, part timing. Also, tailor your approach to the group you're trading with. Families with kids might value diapers or sweets. Older folks might prioritize firewood, meds, or reading glasses. Know your customer. Trade isn't just about goods, it's about understanding people. Number 8. Store and preserve your trade goods properly. Treat your trade stash like a bank account. You gotta protect it. Store food in cool, dry places. No pests, no moisture. Ammo needs to stay dry and sealed. Meds and alcohol should be kept out of heat and light. You don't want to offer spoiled rice, moldy bandages, or corroded batteries. That's not just a bad trade, it damages your reputation. Use oxygen absorbers for dry goods, fuel stabilizers for gas, rotate your supplies, and regularly inspect your stockpile. Your reserve is your currency, so don't let it rot. Number 9. Don't trade away critical self-sustainment items prematurely. In the heat of a desperate moment, it's tempting to trade a big chunk of what you do have for something you don't. But that can backfire badly. Let's say you're low on ammo, but have tons of canned food. Sure, trade some for defense, but not all. Because without food next week, your bullets won't feed you. Always keep a personal reserve of non-negotiable essentials. Think of it as your minimal survival threshold. Don't dip below it unless it's life or death. Smart traders operate like smart shopkeepers. They never sell their last loaf of bread, no matter the price, because tomorrow, they'll have nothing left to trade. Hoarders, ironically, do well in barter economies, if they release their stash slowly and strategically. In other words, don't just survive today, think 3 trades ahead. And lastly, number 10, use barter networks or group trades if available. In some collapses, people form barter clubs or informal markets with agreed rules, like Argentina's post-crisis trading networks, where people even use local credit systems to simplify exchange. If something like that forms near you, join in. Group trade offers 3 key advantages: more safety, broader selection, and a framework of trust. Even a small group of trusted families trading amongst themselves can become a mini economy. They might even agree on basic exchange rates, like 5 .22 rounds equal 1 can of beans, to reduce haggling and keep things smooth. And if someone cheats or threatens the balance, the group enforces its own order, and often more effectively than any broken legal system. Barter isn't just trade, it's relationship building. When you deal face-to-face in a world without rules, how you treat people matters. If you show respect, empathy, you gain trust, protection, and long-term opportunity. But if you only act out of greed or aggression, you might win the deal and lose allies, or worse, make enemies. Bartering isn't about domination, it's about surviving together. Preparing to dominate the post-collapse barter environment. So, now you understand the game, but how do you win it? Simple. Start preparing today. Not just for your own survival, but to dominate in a barter-driven world. That means two things: stockpiling smart and skill building strategically. Start with physical goods. Not just the things you'll need to live on, but the things that others will desperately want. If you don't smoke, still stash cigarettes. If you've got good heat, still grab fuel tabs, because someone else won't have either. Think utility. Think scarcity. Batteries, soap, lighters, ibuprofen. Sure, they're cheap now, but later, they'll be gold. Buy in bulk and break it down into tradable-sized portions. 1 pack of meds today becomes 5 trades tomorrow. 1 case of ramen becomes 10 meals someone would beg to buy from you. Every shelf in your home can be a future profit center if you stock it right. But stuff alone won't set you apart. Your biggest edge is what's between your ears. Start learning survival skills now. Take a trauma class. Learn how to fix a carburetor. Practice canning vegetables, reloading ammo, sewing up torn clothes. Every skill you gain is like adding a new product to your future barter catalog. As the saying goes, the American tradesman must return in full force. And you're gonna be that tradesman or a tradeswoman, the one who makes things work when the world doesn't. Also, don't prep alone. Your network is your safety net. Start building a circle of trust before the crisis. 1 friend gardens, another does electrical, you handle medicine or repairs. Together, you become a functioning, resilient microeconomy. You don't need 100 people, just a few good ones with skills and supplies. Even just knowing who in your family or neighborhood who has a water well, a greenhouse, a generator, or a workshop can make all the difference when the lights go out. And finally, mindset. The collapse will test everyone. Some people panic, others pray, but you see opportunity. This isn't about exploiting others. It's about creating value where none existed before. It's about being a cornerstone of sanity in a chaotic world. When cash dies, the real currency becomes clear. The fuel in your tank, the soup in your pantry, the bullet in your chamber, the knowledge in your head. By banking in goods, skills, and relationships today, you build wealth that no inflation or collapse can touch. No matter what tomorrow brings, you'll be ready, not just to trade, but to lead. Because in the new economy after collapse, survival is your currency. And you're already rich. So now you know the truth. When the system fails and the dollar is dead, survival isn't about who has the most money. It's about who holds real value. The goods, the skills, the mindset. You don't have to wait for collapse to start winning in that world. You can prepare now and become the one others look to when everything else falls apart. Barter isn't just trading, it's rebuilding, it's leadership, it's control in a world that's lost it. Stock smart, train hard, build your circle. And remember, the future belongs to the prepared. So, stay prepared, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next video.